First question, when are you going to release depth chart?
We're really going to take a look. I don't know when we're going to release it, but we're going to have a real serious meeting on the depth chart on Saturday. So we still have 3 practices to go until then, and we'll talk about that Saturday afternoon.
I guess one word that I keep hearing is tempo. Is that one thing that you keep trying to invest with these guys? And how has the tempo been this year?
The tempo can be a little bit better as far as the movement of the offense goes. But for the most part, I think we get up to the line of scrimmage pretty quickly. We get our calls in. We because of the fact that we make a lot of checks, depending on what the defense gives us, that actually slows down the tempo. So on one hand, you've got an advantage in the sense that you're really truly adjusting to what the defense is doing. On the other hand, though, if you want to go more of a hurry-up type of system, there's a balance between that, and we're still working on that.
Ryan from the Sun News was quoting Pat Node saying Jeremy Height is the #1 guy. I guess what's your comments on that situation?
I mean, I would agree with that. I think Jeremy has a good understanding of the position, has a good understanding of what his responsibilities are, has done a good job carrying the ball, has done a good job receiving the ball, he's done a good job blocking. So right now, that's Jeremy's job to lose.
Are you a type of coach that wants to see one guy handle the carries and maybe that guy get in a rhythm, or are you saying that fresher legs, this, that, and the other thing, and maybe 3 guys?
I think that's also a balance, but I think for the most part, we don't want to be running back by committee. If we've got a guy or 2 that we really believe is supposed to be running the ball, they're the guys we want to have running the ball. You always have to have backups kind of ready to go. And when you have a multiple system, there are times you're using 1 back, times you're using 2 backs, times you're not using any backs. But if we've got the guy that's the right guy, we're not afraid to give him the ball as often as we need to.
What do you like about Height as far as like his skill set?
He's been incredibly consistent across the board. He doesn't make many mistakes. He understands what he needs to do, whether he's a blocker, whether he's a receiver, or whether he's a ball carrier. And he's really done a pretty good job of that.
And then as far as, the run to pass ratio, I know we haven't seen a game yet, so we don't know what to really expect. What would you say that, you guys are going to balance in that aspect?
Yeah, I don't know if the perspective that we've got is that we're balanced as much as there are certain things that a defense may give you. We've got to be able to take advantage of that. So if a defense is giving us certain things and that particular game we are running the ball or passing the ball at a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio the other way around, that would be okay with us. By the same token, we've got to be balanced enough because you're not going to win if you just throw, and you're not going to win if you just run the ball. So we'll try to balance that.
Have you been working more on the pass or the run this
No, I think we're working on both. I think we're working on both. 55-45 passing.
That's all I wanted to know. A lot of people have been talking about this Master Mateo, but if I remember from last year, Matt Hazel was kind of the guy I thought who was the most talented. How has he been in camp?
Both Matt and Nicolo have both done good jobs. Nicolo has done a good job of everything we've asked him to do. He's a preseason all-conference pick as a punt returner. He did a good job with that last year, but he's been doing a good job as a receiver in our offense. Matt was the leading receiver last year, and he's doing a good job for us. He got a little banged up in the spring, so we didn't get a chance to see him as much as we would have liked. But both of those guys, if you're throwing the ball to them, most of the time they're going to come down with it.
How's health and everything? I know that one guy fractured his leg, and how's everyone doing?
Adrian Sullivan hurt his leg the other day. That one's probably pretty serious. Other than that, though, we've got a lot of bangs and bruises, which are to be expected as far as preseason camp goes. But I think going into next week, we're still going to have a good week and a half, 2 weeks to get ready for opening game. Hopefully the bangs and bruises wind up going away, and we're close to pretty healthy.
You're still looking at your team. You're not looking ahead right yet to North Carolina A&T. Are you starting to put that film?
One of the first questions you asked me was, what do I think about the depth chart? If we're still thinking about our depth chart, we're focused on what we're doing. So right now, we're still focused on us. Next week, we'll start to spend a little bit more time thinking about our first 3 opponents, and then certainly going into game week, we'll just focus on A&T.
All right, Jeremy. Kind of tell me how you think your fall practice has gone for you so far.
It's going pretty good. I'm staying healthy, so that's a big plus. So that's a big thing. As long as we get out there and stay healthy right before the game, first game, everything go good.
Looks like coaches are starting to lean toward you to be the #1 guy on the depth chart. And What does that make you feel? Does it kind of make the off season pay out? Because coming into this, it was like a 6 or 7 man race.
I mean, it still is. I mean, like I'm saying, we just like the coaches say, anybody can play. You don't have the red shirt when you come in as a freshman. You just come in. Whoever's working the hardest out there each and every day, that's gonna be the guy that's on the field.
Tell me what about yourself last year.
I mean, it was just up and down year or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just want to work. Just kept working hard. Finished the season strong. That's what it was.
You didn't have any injuries or anything last year?
I mean, a little nicks and bruises there and there, like daily routines of practice, but that's about it.
Tell me about just your running style and why you think what you're going to be doing is going to be successful for this team.
I mean, I'm just more of a really the coaches, what they really want is a back that's gonna get north and south, or basically just get north and south. And I just do whatever the coach wants me to do, and that's what I got to do.
Do you feel like you in a sense maybe got a fresh start with the new coaches, or do you feel like you were like that to begin with? Or
I mean, I was always the same person, do whatever was best for the team.
How's the offense been clicking over the last 2 weeks of training camp here?
We get everything down packed, all the plays, trying to master these plays and get ready for this first game and get ready to take care of business.
How do you feel like the ratio is when you guys work out in practice? You feel like it's more passing you're working on, more running? How's this team going to balance come September 1st?
I mean, it is whatever Coach Patnaugh call, that's what we're running.
So have you seen more run plays be called, or is it kind of you can't really tell?
Can't really tell. It's about balance.
First couple weeks of training camp's gone for you.
Went pretty well. Getting a little sore now, so just finishing out the grind. It's been a long off season, so we just ready to get things going.
Yeah, how is the dynamic of camp? You guys are all competing with each other, so it's kind of is it a little chippy? Then you guys come together as a team. Just tell me how camp works.
It's always competition, going against the D, but at the end of the day, we're all teammates, so we just trying to make each other better, prepare for the season. We just have a great year.
Do you feel like you guys are working on the pass more than the run, or is it kind of balanced, or how things have been working since?
I mean, it's pretty balanced right now, but you know what I'm saying, we just gonna keep on grinding, just keep the offense going, just keep learning the offense, and just keep working.
How do you feel like it's gonna be come the season? Do you feel like Patnaud's gonna? You guys got some talent at wide receiver. I feel like
he's gonna open it up. He's gonna throw the ball. He said he's gonna sling the ball around a little bit. So we just gonna try to make plays, and just help our team to victory.
A lot of people, kind of made a lot about Nicolo, Master Mateo. He's fast, he's short. But if I remember last year, you led the team in receptions. You have 11 touchdowns over the last 2 years. I mean, do you think some people might be forgetting about you, or not really?
I'm not too worried about what people say. Like you said earlier, we got a lot of talent on this team, so we just gonna keep on working and just get ready for the season.
Tell me about your skill set. What makes you so dangerous? 11 touchdowns in freshman and sophomore years.
Just the ability to go up and get it. I'm pretty fast, pretty quick, so just that. I got a lot better. Honed in on my technique a little bit better, so I think that made me a little bit better.
Freshman year, you had that one breakout game, if I remember, the Liberty game. How did that help your confidence?
I think it actually went sky high. Helped me a little bit better, but I still had to keep working. Keep my level head because I didn't want to get too big headed. And just I think that's about it.
How'd you feel how you did last year? Just overall?
I did pretty well, but I figured I could have did a little bit better. I've been working hard this off season, trying to have a great season. Just help my teammates. Just trying to just do it.
Are you bigger now? I mean, you're not. You're the same height, but you might be.
Gained a little weight, put on a little bit, probably like 10 pounds. So I feel a little bit better, better condition. So Coach Stone did a great job and just working hard in the weight room, just getting all us right for the season.
10 pounds. What does that mean to a wide receiver?
Just taking out the hits, going across the middle. Because a lot of DBs aren't really that big, so you get a pretty good advantage over that.
You feel like, are you going to be across the middle guy, or are you going to be a north-south vertical threat guy? I mean, or possession? What kind of guy do you want to be?
At first, I just want to be just help my team out. But I can go across the middle. I can go up and get it. So I'm not too really worried about just here and there. I just want to make plays and help my team win.
Are you worried about some of the other receivers banged up? I think one guy fractured his leg, and I mean, is there a lot of injuries at wide receiver?
There's a lot of injuries, but we got guys who come in, play in the position. Coach Patno, Coach Diaz want us to learn every position at receiver. So guys can play in and out. We can swap it. We got a lot of talent at receiver.
There you go. How do you feel camp's gone so far for the offense?
No, it's been good. It's been, it's a learning experience anytime you put a new system in, and I think the growth has been great from the spring. From the first part of the camp has been, really a good transition. I think our knowledge is really good. We've come a long way in our understanding of the system and the scheme. The idea of our spacing and things like that, I think, has gotten much better. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of stuff that we still have to work on. Good thing is we don't play for a couple more weeks, but I'm really very happy with where we are at this point.
I guess I talked to Mowgli, and he said, you're thinking about releasing the depth chart maybe after Saturday. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, you know where you're putting all these guys now and who's kind of where they are?
Yeah, I think you have a better idea, but I mean, the thing about it is there's so many guys that can contribute that you're trying to figure out a way to get the best package of players together that you can get. And you're also sorting through guys that might be a little dinged up, didn't get as many reps in camp as you might have wanted, or those type of things, and just trying to put all the pieces together, because we're going to play with so many different guys, so many different personnel groupings and things like that, that you're always kind of playing chess with the the different pieces until you really get into game week, and then you kind of pull it back and say, all right, these are the guys that we're going to go with.
Some of the guys I talked with before they were saying you might be throwing it around, slinging it around is what they said. What kind of Chanticleer offense should we expect?
No, I think overall, if you look at us over the last 4 or 5 years, we're pretty balanced. We're probably throw it a little bit more than we've run it in the past, but it's really, based on who we have. If we have a guy that you want to hand the ball to, or we're a good running team, we'll feature the run game a little bit more. That being said, it's not necessarily just a running back, it's the quarterback, it's the receivers getting involved, it's some option and things like that. Being a quarterback at heart, I always like to be able to throw the ball and be efficient throwing it. A lot of the things that we do throwing the ball are more of an extension of the run game anyway. A lot of quick screens, short dump throws, a lot of quick game stuff. So, we're going to try to play to the best 11 that we have. And fortunately for us, our starting quarterback can do a little bit of all of it. He's pretty good in the run game. He's kind of slippery when he gets out there and makes plays, and he does have the ability to read out, get us into the right protections and things like that in the pass game. So we'll see here over the next couple weeks.
I guess when you look back at some of the the past game footage of Aramis, was that more of a spring way where he could learn from some of that, or are you still looking back at some of the mistakes or successes that he had last year and say, hey, remember the VMI game, or remember this game? Do you do that, or do you kind of just trying to implement it?
Yeah, there's nothing like experience when you're behind the center, and the thing that really separates him from the other guys is he has live, reps, and he's got he's out there when the bullets are flying, and he's been able to, be consistent and be successful as a varsity quarterback at a 1AA school, and that's that separates him, and that's invaluable. We more talk about the things that we've seen in camp, or we go back and watch the cut-ups of what other guys have done in the same system, and kind of teach off of that and say, look, what would you do here? How would you handle this? What would you be? What would you do in this situation? And then put all the quarterbacks that are in the room, under the gun to kind of be able to answer those questions based off of what they're seeing on tape.
Tell me about Jeremy Height a little bit. It sounds like you kind of named him your starting guy.
Yeah, right now we have 4 or 5 guys that we're still really considering. At this point, 2 of the guys that were in the mix was Marcus Whitener and Travis Small were hurt, and then we had a Lorenzo Talaferro, who is a junior college transfer, is a really good player, banged up his shoulder a little bit. So from a depth situation, it's been a little we've been a little thin, and Jeremy came into camp as the starter after having a good spring. And the thing that, I think best sums him up is he's just really consistent. He's good in the pass game. He's got good hands. He knows the system. He's good in pass protection. He's good running with the football. And that's really what we look for in that back, is the ability to be multiple, hit the ball between the tackles, but then you have to be able to pass pro. Like I said, if we're going to sling it around 45, 50 times, then that guy's got to be integral in either being able to dump the ball to him as a piece of the pass game, or he's got to be great in protection.
How's the line doing?
The line has really come a long way. Our starting five right now is really good. I think for this level, really confident in that group. The second group is still a bunch of younger guys that are still kind of figuring it out. We're going to scrimmage a little bit tomorrow, and those guys will get a lot of reps. We'll kind of pull back on some of the reps with some of the older guys, give some of the younger guys more live reps that way. And your goal is always to try to have 7 or 8 ready to go. So I think that by the time we get to the opener, we'll be ready.
That big guy still here, the Washington State guy?
He is. The thing with him is it's assimilating into the system, and trying to figure everything out. And it's not easy when you first get here to try to make that transition. He didn't have the opportunity to be with us in the spring, so he's a little bit behind that way. Obviously, he's a big guy. But, if you can't play fast because you're thinking and trying to figure out what's going on, it doesn't matter how big you are. So he's in the mix, and as well as a bunch of guys that were here in the spring and some other freshmen that we think are going to be really good players. But again, it's game experience, and nothing is going to mold you except being in the fire. And the great thing for us is, our starting 5 have all played and all are experienced, and all but one will be coming back. So we feel really good about that.
And then finally, the wide receiver combination. It sounds like one guy is out for a while with an injury, but you got a pretty good depth there.
Yeah, again, the depth was great when we got here, Matt Hazel is a really good player in this league. Demario Bennett's been a really good player. And I think the 2 top guys on the outside. Chris Presley will be back. He played a lot of football last year. He's a big target. He's got his foot in the boot for a little bit right now, just to calm some things down in there. But he'll be ready to go for the opener. And then inside, Nicolo Mastromateo has been great. He's that kind of prototypical little slot guy, working the zones, little guy, really quick. And for our offense, again, a lot of what we do is try to get guys the ball in space, make the first guy miss, and turn a 5-yard throw into a 20-yard gain. And he's really been great for us here in camp.
How does Joe Mo coach you? It seems like he's the CEO, but you have you're the very vocal. This will be my last question. How has he been?
He's great. I mean, the thing that Coach Moglia does is he lets his coaches coach, and he's very aware of the system, how you prepare, how you practice, how you evaluate things, take a different look at this, and is always kind of pushing you to push the envelope, not necessarily on what play to run, but how are you calling it, how are you packaging it. Very much a CEO mentality. Hire the best guys that you think that you have, let them do their job, and then kind of manage what they're doing from that standpoint.